Okay, all you parents out there, it is time to bring you up to speed on the latest cyber terms that concern your kids and which may leave you saying, what? Thankfully, we've got our digital parenting expert with us on the set, Elizabeth Malavidov.
Hello.
Hi, Elizabeth. So it's always great to have you on the show. Particularly today, we're going to talk a bit more about what cyber terms are out there that parents need to know about. But first, we just need to differentiate between cyber slang and cyber terms.
Right, exactly. Cyber slang and internet acronyms, those are the things that, even you and I use, like LMK for let me know, or OMG for oh my God. And so the kids are really using a lot of this terminology to speak to each other in chats, and sometimes it can be a little dicey because they're using coded language when they don't want their parents to know. But we're not going to be talking about that so much today as talking about some other cyber terms, which will cover more of the activities that our children may be doing and that parents need to know about.
Well, let's start with the first one. So apparently there are some resourceful, very creative students out there who are using Google Docs, something many of us use, to actually circumvent the ban on mobile phones and social media in school. So tell us a bit more about Google Doc note sharing.
Right. So this has just started to become something new where children are actually using a collaborative software to share, and they're just passing notes. It's the same thing that you and I did back in the day when we were passing notes, except now they're using it online. So that means that they're sitting in a classroom or they're at home, and they're able to highlight certain parts of the text, and then they answer because it's all collaborative. And so if a teacher or a parent happens to look over their shoulder and think that they're just writing notes, well, they can just resolve the comment and the conversation goes away. So with this type of activity, they're able to do some icky things like cyberbullying or create a burn book, but they're also able to do some really
What's
good
a burn
things.
book?
A burn book is a book where perhaps everyone has questions and there's one person who's excluded, and so they're not involved. But there are also good things where they could be planning something, planning a surprise event or anything else, but and not to just put the onus on Google. Any type of online collaborative software program like OneNote or Microsoft Word Online, anywhere kids can collaborate, they will get creative and find ways to talk to each other.
So what can we do about it?
Well, I think that the same thing that I always say is that parents need to talk to their teenagers. This is a bit trickier because it is software, so they need to talk to their children and their young people and let them know what's acceptable and what their expectations are.
Okay, next up, what is juice jacking?
Juice jacking. I love this one. Actually, I learned of this a few years ago watching a CSI cyber television series with my favorite person, Mary Aiken, who's a cyber psychologist. And I will show you the little demonstration. So when we see and use a USB key, it's for exchanging data. And so we run around with our phones all the time, and we have these public kiosks, and everyone wants to charge. Everyone needs to charge their phone. Well, the problem is that sometimes people will put malicious malware into this, and so they can either access your information or inject something. And the simple thing to do is either carry a charger or use an electric socket to plug in, and not to use these public kiosks that we see in taxis, on the planes, at train stations.
Interesting. Okay, next up, cyber flashing. What's that?
Cyber flashing, another thing that parents need to be aware of, because this is just like before when someone would flash in the park, except they are doing it via our smartphones. That means that usually it's with an iPhone, and so you have your the contacts open where in AirDrop or in Bluetooth they can see you. So they find you when you're on the metro and they AirDrop a photo that's usually a lewd photo, and that's it. Now you would think that you're going to receive it and that it's okay, you can accept or decline, but the problem is that you do see the image.
And so smart thing there, turn off your AirDrop.
Turn it off or put it on contacts only.
Okay, last one. What's phubbing?
Phubbing.
It sounds intriguing.
So it's kind of a mix between phone and snubbing. And so the problem is just that, we're not paying attention. Even by me leaving my phone here, it seems like I'm not really with you because it's on the table with me. So my advice to parents for themselves is to be mindful, to really be in the present, to sit up there and have a tech hour, or to even create a family media agreement, or better yet, just put the phone away.
What's a phone stack?
A phone stack is if we were to go have lunch and we place our phones together one at a time, and whoever reaches for their phone first has to pay for the lunch.
That is a good idea. I love that one. Thank you so much, Elizabeth.
You're quite welcome.
We just have a few seconds left. Just very briefly for parents, what's the best way for parents to stay on top of all of these changing terms?
Yeah, I think they need to talk with each other. They need to talk with their students, with their families. They can ask me if they're in a different country. There are resources everywhere, and I can help them find them. So let's do this.
All right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth Milovidov. And remember, if you do want to get your own top tips on being a cyber parent, join the digital parenting community. You can find it on Facebook. You can ask Elizabeth anything. She is a wealth of information. There's also information from other parents and caregivers.
Exactly.
Elizabeth, thank you so much. All right. That's it for me today. Claire Pride's up next with the headlines. Also more live coverage from London as D-Day for Brexit still stands for the moment at just 2 days away. Don't go away.